me introduce you to these two people from the Maison Rebelle. Montréalaise by adoption, Carol is originally from Toronto and moved to Montreal 11 years ago following her retirement. She last worked as a counselor and a psychotherapist supporting members of the 2SLGBTQIA community. Shortly after arriving in Montreal, Carol helped form an older lesbian social group called Rebelle Toujours. The primary purpose of the group was to advocate and offer solutions on the needs of women to have safe, affordable housing. This group morphed into Maison de Rebelle, of which she is a founding member. Vuli Manfredis is an architect with more than 38 years of experience and commitment to sustainability. Her firm's portfolio includes cutting-edge green projects and collaboration with NPOs, including La Rue des Femmes and Habitat for Humanity. Vuli is personally and professionally preoccupied by urban housing affordability, especially as it affects seniors, women, and lesbians. She and her spouse, Isabelle Duclos, are both members of La Maison de Rebelle Collective. Welcome.
Thank you. And I'd like to welcome all of you to La Maison des Rebelles, not yet constructed, but definitely well underway in terms of progress and hopefulness. I do want to start by thanking Concordia and the Gay and Gray Montreal group for organizing and planning this wonderful conference. Thank you for the exhilarating workout that definitely helped to wake me up and certainly to energize me. So this project, La Maison des Rebelles, will be celebrating 7 years of hard work and commitment and perseverance on the 3rd of June. 7 years towards the fulfillment of a dream to create housing that is safe and affordable for lesbians and their allies. It's a group with a strong vision of, well, certainly affordable housing, but also mutual aid, something that has already been talked about as of a major concern as we get older, and also a project of collectivity and just sharing life and experience together as we get older in a safe, supportive environment. We've heard a lot about the fears that we have as we grow older and the possibility of us having to move into senior residences or certainly nursing homes. And this kind of project, I think, is very, very important, and especially a project with a social housing vision as part of it. Even though we've been a collective, we're a collective of 9 at this moment, even though we have been a collective for only 7 years, we really are already community. We're a group of close, supportive friends. And certainly when you bring together a group of women ranging in age from 62 to 76, I'm the proud oldest member of the collective, there's going to be at times tensions, conflicts, differences of opinions. But what has been most helpful in this regard is ongoing mandatory training in nonviolent communication. It's something that we are privileged to be able to engage in 3 or 4 times a year. One of our collective is an expert in this field. So that is certainly something I highly recommend as one thinks about co-housing projects of any form. The challenge, of course, has been to find land and to find funding. But again, the hard work and perseverance has paid off. And I'm going to now pass over the talk now to Vuli, who can talk further about this. But one thing I haven't yet mentioned, and I don't want to forget, is that we are a group of women who have been activists and advocates all of our lives for decades, and certainly remaining active and engaged in life, in politics, in social movements and change is something that we aspire to, and I think we deserve. Over to you.
Thank you. And I'll just take the moment to say, and I am the youngest member of the collective. It's rare for me these days at my age to be in a group where I'm the youngest anymore. I'm usually the oldest these days. To carry on from what Carol said, the challenge is to find land, which we finally did. We're working with a GRT called Bâtir son quartier. And there's a number of challenges when we're looking at doing a senior co-housing project. And we wanted it to be in Montreal. It's where we all live. We wanted it to be accessible, so we'd have access to metros and shopping. We could walk, etc. And the land was finally found. But the problem with the real estate context in Quebec, in Montreal, as it's true in many cities, it's worse in Toronto, I'm sure, is that developers control the sites. So the only way that we can make this project happen is through this process called a projet d'insertion, which means that our project was included in a bigger project where a developer who's developing 3 private condo buildings on a piece of land, in order to get the various permits with the city, he also had to agree to build social housing. So there's going to be 100 social housing units in the second part of the project, of the development. The condos are already under construction. There's going to be a CPE, a public daycare on the ground floor. And on the ground floor also, there's space for commerces, but we're looking at commerces that are actually environmentally responsible, socially responsible, and diverse. So when we're looking at the model of co-housing and senior co-housing that actually started in Denmark, some of you are probably possibly aware of this model. When it was imported to North America, the model is usually privately funded. So what we were looking to do, and this is a relatively new model, where we're looking to have the same kind of project, but have it social housing and privately funded and publicly funded. And in order to realize our project, because we're only going to have 20 units, our community, which we've already built, will be part of a bigger community, because we are collaborating and have created a group with 2 other women's groups that are going to house these 2 buildings. One of them is a local group. Our site is in Saint-Henri. That's been active for social housing, for affordable housing for many, many years. They're mostly racialized women, and the other group is women that are with Logifemme, that have experienced different types of issues with domestic violence, etc. So we're looking at a community of 3 groups that are already their own communities, forming a bigger community, and it's all 3 groups of women, 3 women's groups that on some level all have suffered or are dealing with some kind of social vulnerability. The second, and I'm going to share, if it's possible, a PowerPoint presentation, because the second challenge, when we're looking at the model of co-housing, the first thing you got to do for success is you got to build a community. You can't build it and then they will come. You can't build a building and then invite people to come and be part of a community. The community needs to be part of the design process. You need to set your objectives, and you need to build the community with ways of communicating responsibly and equitably, and ways with a structure that allows the community to grow and be healthy. Because our goal here is to support each other through the latter chapters of this life journey, and hopefully through the final ending of our life journey in a way that's active. So yeah, we want to end this journey at home, and home for us is Maison de Rebelle. And so, but the home, even though we've built the Maison and from a community point of view, and I'm going to, if it's possible, to share my screen. Let's see. Danielle, how do I share my screen?
The green button on the bottom should be
sorry, it is it was hidden in plain sight. There we go. So what's also really, there we go. Oops. Oh, that's my poodle. That's sorry. The other challenge is the biggest challenge is also to create spaces, physical spaces that actually will support the activity and support the community. Usually in co-housing model, you've got little houses or little apartments that are attached, and then you have a common house. We can't have a common house. We've got 2 floors of a 6-story building. So what we've looked at is our common spaces. And I will share the screen here if I can.
It is up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, hold on a second, because I need to do my slideshow. There you go, play from start. Okay, there we go. So what we did is we actually set up a co-design workshop, and to prepare for it, we asked all of our members to send images of how we see our common spaces, our interactions, how we see our house together. So we had a lot of fun. We looked at the kind of activities that we saw ourselves doing: cooking, gossiping, a lot of eating, and reading, the stuff that we like to do. Writing, we've got one of our members, we're all eco-feminists. We've got members that are filmmakers, kayak teachers. We are a very diverse group, and we wanted to be able to enjoy all of that. I'm Greek, so I certainly want to be able to play backgammon with my friends. So we're looking at games. So this is the kind of stuff we want to be doing in our common spaces. Music, crafts. So you can see yoga, tai chi, definitely dancing. So that's how we started it all. And we also are very active in the group. We've been pushing a lot for access to the roof. I think it's important for so many reasons, which I won't go into now, but we're looking at activities that we want to be doing on the roof, gardening, etc., in the basement, possibly workshop, definitely storage for our kayaks and bicycles. We set up a program. So we basically were very, very thorough in talking about our needs, and I'll go really quickly because I'm running out of time. And then we shared some images of other co-housing projects in the States and in Canada and in Denmark, some layouts that of the common houses, so that this is all inspiration. And then what we did is we had our co-housing workshop. This is us smiling when we're looking at all the activities we're going to be sharing. And what we did is we put little pieces of paper with activities, and then looked at the common spaces and organized them, saying, what do we want to do in the kitchen? What do we want to do in the great room, on the terrace, in the basement, in the lounging area? On almost all of them, we have the rêver, which is to dream, which is really interesting. And then we printed out large scale prints of the plans as they existed at that time. They've changed from the developer. And we said, let's plan it ourselves. How much room do we need? So we basically set up, the different activities and to scale. I'm kind of used to doing that. We basically played around with it. So said, yeah, this is the space we need, and this is the way it can look. And that is really very quickly ending with 2 minutes to go with some of our concerns, etc. So essentially, the two aspects, what we see this as, because the two challenges for us were to find land and the normal challenges of a co-housing project. We've built the Maison de Rebelle we've got the tools that we can continue growing, communicating with each other, and also to introduce other members. We know there's a lot more work to do, dealing with aging, dealing with all the issues that were brought up from the first panel, which we're very much aware of. And then the other challenge is, how do we make this space support us? So we're also looking at that. We're preparing for that. The last thing I wanted to say is that we really hope that our project is a model that will be used for other developments. We're hoping that there's going to be little baby Maison des Rebelles, or using it for other, the same model for other groups, how to integrate a seniors co-housing into a larger project. Our community also, even though there's going to be 20 apartments, we are part of a bigger community, not only with, we've got, many of us have, well, almost all of us have family, and we've got friends that are outside of the Maison des Rebelles, but we see the Maison des Rebelles as kind of a nucleus that's going to help support us in a lot of activities. We're going to have workshops, we're going to have training, and we might even become grandmothers for some of the kids in the CPE. Our challenge right now is financing, because even though our project has a lot of support and everyone thinks it's a fantastic idea, especially with the 3 women's groups involved, we are caught in the bureaucracy between 2SLG, which we've abandoned, and CMHC, which is right now into the bureaucratic phase of getting the financing. And on that note, I am right on time. I think that's it, unless you want to add something else. No,
that was great.
Hold on just a second. Jazzy, do you want to add anything? She's saying, I'm also an older poodle. I'm 13 years old. There you go. She has not yet expressed her sexuality, though, so we're not sure where that goes. So thank you very much. I want to share Carol's appreciation on everything that was set up to now. We're incredibly privileged to be part of this. What a fantastic organization. And I will mute myself now.